Welcome to the 2021 CTE Open House at the Wilbur Career Tech Center. I am CT. I hope you will be too.
CTE is a great opportunity for students to be able to explore different careers they may have an interest in before spending thousands of dollars on a bachelor's degree that they may determine at the end it's not something that they really want to do.
CTE education to me is a combination of mind and hands-on. The learning that goes on in the CT Center is paramount to successful futures for kids, whether it's as a college student, whether it's as a trade school student, an apprentice working in a trade, whether it's a future homeowner, and learning skills to be able to transfer into everyday life.
I feel like it's more involved. You definitely get more experience. Some kids learn more hands-on than other students, and other students like to sit in a classroom, and other students like to be hands-on outside.
Our students in the CT thrive because they are engaged in their learning. When they're engaged in their learning, they have a passion to want to come to school every day.
One of the benefits of the CTE program is the connection that students make between their academic coursework and the career skills that they learn in the program. Through the CTE program, students can answer the questions, what am I learning, why am I learning it, and how it will apply to my future.
Ideally, while students are in high school, they have an opportunity to really think about what they'd like to do for the rest of their life. And I just think this program is fantastic because there's so many different opportunities in so many different fields.
I would say it's the pathways to the future. Students get very excited to take CT classes. They understand that it is real life skills. I don't need to tell them that. Most students tell me that. They say, oh, this is great. I'm actually learning things that I'm gonna use.
It's more of a career-driven program or programs because you really get to dive deep into what you like or even try something. So students can jump from certain classes, like say they try engineering, they can jump next over to vet science. It really gives them an insight into what it's going to be like working in that field or what the study methods are going to be if you're going to go into that field in college.
I find it is just as important to learn what you do like in a class versus what you don't like, instead of having to pay $500 to $1,000 for just a college course to learn that you don't really like that college course, or to have to change your major. So I went into the program really wanting to be a veterinarian or a vet tech, but I learned through the program, and I got my first job at a vet hospital through there, and I learned that the veterinary field really, it wasn't for me, but I also learned that I love the animal behavior, so I'm going into human neuroscience.
I think CTE is a better way of learning for some students. I know I was in the forestry program here, and I'm a much more hands-on learner, and it has a different aspect than sitting in front of a computer and book all day. I find you retain knowledge better by going out, getting hands dirty.
I think it proves to colleges that they're a little more serious about their career because they've actually had enough exposure to perhaps make a decision about whether they really want to do it or not.
It's better because you get the experience instead of just reading about it. You get to learn hands-on, in person.
I like the diversity of the students and their backgrounds and their interests, and then they kind of come together from all different, people are different, take different classes within the school. Some are going to college and some are not, and we put them all together because in the real world, you're going to work with folks that have different backgrounds in education.
They're being taught by people who were professionals in the field. They're not getting it from hearsay from books and educators. They're getting it from people who have been in the trenches and have seen things firsthand.
Just the practical application of these programs makes you a better person. You can say, wow, I got asked to do something, I did it, and there's the result of my work. I can see it. And I think that that's really a wonderful aspect of not only our program, but for all the CTE programs.
Now you know who we are, let's dig a little deeper into the courses we offer.
The welding class here, we started this a few years back. We have Intro to Welding, Welding 1, and Welding 2. With the new CTE edition, we added a little bit of fabricating involved in it.
Just being able to come to this class and practice, because you could learn about welding and know everything about it, but if you've never actually held a welding torch, you don't know anything.
He got to learn a lot about welding in high school. Well, we're trying to go one step further than that, so when they graduate high school, they'll have a little bit of machining ability, fabricating ability, so when they leave, they'll be better suited to go into industry, whether it be right from high school or to pursue a higher education, to go to a trade school, learn to get a certificate or a degree. So we're just trying to make it a little bit easier for kids now to go to school, so we offer them just a little bit more.
My role here is a Project Lead the Way teacher, as well as drafting and design. Project Lead the Way was developed years ago when basically we found that, for the most part, high school kids are lagging behind other industrial nations in STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. So they put together a program, calling it Project Lead the Way, which consists of several different types of engineering programs. We're using software to design, reading prints. My classroom is very hands-on. We do have traditional formative and summative quizzes and exams, but for the most part, you're not doing anything in theory. When I show you something, we immediately make it happen. You want to be an engineer, this is the way to go. But if a lot of my kids don't end up being engineers, they do other things. And my course will help them organize their work, because they have to maintain an engineer's notebook. They have to document the work that they're using. And these are all skills, even if you never become an engineer, you need to be able to organize, I guess is a better word. You may not have to document things in your home, but organization, tackling any problem, from cleaning the garage to building a deck. You need to plan, problem solve, and organize. And this is what we do with each project.
Digital media consists of both 2D as well as 3D. 2D, I'd be showing students industry standards for doing graphic designs, moving on to audio editing, and then video editing through Premiere. The facility here is fantastic, and I see a lot of potential in it. So the idea also is to be able to have students go out and film events, like sporting events and school events. So we have brand new video equipment. It has a recording studio, it has an audio studio, and then there's also audio editing. There's an offshoot in the back that is for audio engineering as well. So the post-production computers use the newest of Adobe products, which are the industry standard for a lot of designing, engineering, post-production. A lot of things that take place in these sort of platforms are time management, prioritization, meeting deadlines, communication, collaboration, regardless of if it's creative or not. I like to give my students a lot of individuality, so I set the field for them, and where they decide to take their projects is completely up to them. I find this is important because any kind of curveballs that come their way, they also have to be able to learn lateral thinking and problem solving.
Forestry and wildlife program like this can help students get a job anywhere from sawmills, educators, fish and game officers, conservation managers, fisheries managers. They start out the year learning about tree ID, classification, and we've moved into equipment maintenance and operation, chainsaws, skidders, tractors, and we'll be following up with planting and harvesting of trees, identification of wildlife, and hopefully eventually get into climbing.
I go to Nashville North High School, and I commute here every day to take this class basically. I kind of want to really engage my life around the outdoors, always be outside doing something.
They've gone into anything from conservation officers, fish and game, loggers, sawmills. Some have gone on to be forestry instructors as well. I think taking a program like Forestry and Wildlife here will help students in the long run, because you get a jump start on college classes depending on what field you go into. So you're getting some of those classes out of the way, the head start over some of the other students coming in with no background in it whatsoever.
We're a very unique course, probably one of the more unique courses you're going to encounter at a high school. We're established by the Department of Defense to teach civics to high school students. The Air Force pays for most of this program. We teach 4 years of curriculum that cover the history of the Air Force, the science of flight, space operations, cultural studies, and leadership.
I think it's going to help me with my future. It's made me more of a team person. It helps prepare you for the real world.
Community service, of course, is a huge part of our program. In our last normal year of school, we did over 1,100 hours of community service for the Southern New Hampshire community. We have a drill team, so we have an interscholastic drill league in New Hampshire. There's 5 schools that compete in this. I'm really excited about the fact that this spring we're beginning our first drone club. Even though this is a military-related program, we only have about 1/3 of our students go into the military. The rest of them are here for the experience, and the experience is you get to learn problem solving, teamwork, leadership. All of those skills we feel apply to anything in life. And that's why I think our program is valuable. If you do 3 years in our program, at least 3 years in our program, you receive a certificate. And if you're going into the military, there's a huge benefit to that, which is as you enlist into the military, instead of entering the Air Force as an E1, as an airman at pay grade 1, you actually enter at pay grade 3, Airman First Class. What that means over the course of a contract, your first contract with the Air Force, 4 years, it's about $20,000. So it's a good investment in your future if you're gonna go into the military.
Part of getting into West Point, you need a nomination from a member of Congress. So he set up a way for me to do that. So if I wanted to join West Point, it's gonna be a lot easier now than it was before.
I really think that the greatest part of the new facility is going to be the fact that for the first time we're going to have indoor fitness area. When we get this drone thing up and running this spring, we'll be able to fly those setup courses, raceways, all these things. We're going to have an incredible amount of access to a space that we've never had before. So I really am excited about the renovation. I think it's going to be a big help for our program.
Culinary arts is basically the art and science of cooking. Students learn basically the classical French cuisine. Students will learn in the first year a good deal of baking, sanitation, some nutrition. Second year, they'll work more on cooking techniques, dining room service, food cooking and volume as well. This is as close to a real-world environment as you get as far as like the equipment, the instruction, and how we teach. Food service is great. It's not just cooking. You know, there's nutrition, there's dietitians, there's food styling, which is basically photography of food, plating of food. There's recipe testing, there's menu testing, there's colleges and hospitals. So there's multiple facets of food service that's not just cooking over the line every day. There's a lot of nutrition and health that's preached in this classroom. Eventually, we're going to work towards having 1 day of service a week. It's going to hopefully be a sit-down, like 3 or 4 course meal, and then it gives the kids an opportunity to what it's like to receive an order, to work to get those foods produced to put out for service. So ideally, that's the goal of the program, to really have it be like a true like table service restaurant. Our program, you get an opportunity to kind of see what the real life is like, whether or not you think you may want to do this further in your career.
I teach the heavy-duty mechanics program here at Alvin. It teaches everything from a small engine all the way through a gas-powered car, through a diesel engine, through big equipment, excavators, backhoes, bobcats. We've rebuilt engines, we've rebuilt transmissions. We've separated motors and transmissions right from the chassis and gone through and put it all back together, make it run and drive again. They'll get to do a little bit of their own maintenance on their own vehicles, but we take care of the farm equipment also. Really, we don't get as greasy as we used to because we have computers that we plug in and we actually run a laptop on them and we can actually diagnose without ever putting our hands on the vehicle. At that point, it does take a little bit of skill to take it apart and fix whatever the computer sees as a problem. The days of just throwing parts at a piece of equipment doesn't happen anymore. Basically, it's like work-based learning. They get to come in and put to practical application everything that they learn. I can tell you that there are technicians out there that well over $100,000 a year. Entry level, walking out of here, an entry-level kid could be in the $40,000 right out of high school. I kind of feel like the program is best suited for a student that has an interest in it, not quite sure where they're going to go with it,
when they leave high school, but we get them a start if they find that they have a passion for it. There are many community colleges that they can go to afterwards and continue their education. We have several students that we've placed right out of high school into a work environment where they're actually working as technicians now. There is definitely a high demand for technicians right now. Getting out of this program and moving on to the workforce is pretty quick.
I teach marketing and personal financial literacy, creating a LinkedIn profile to a new product development product. We are working on creating an online storefront, anything from creating budgets to we have a stock portfolio project. So we tie the marketing mix into all components of marketing and promotion. We also tie in some components of entrepreneurship, along with principles of economics and even finance within the course itself. Everything we're doing is brand new. Everything that we're using here is, marketing changes so quickly that we try to stay up to date on anything that's new and emerging, we're gonna cover in this classroom. Marketing is one of the more exciting subjects, and you can bring it, even if you decide to go into building trades, digital media, these are skills that you can bring into whatever business you decide to go into or start.
Our veterinary science program is unique to New Hampshire. Not only are we the only high school that has an operating dairy barn right on campus, part of the new renovation here at Alvern. We have now a new treatment room. We have 2 wonderful lab spaces. We have, like I said, the surgical suite. We have a small animal kennel that houses rabbits and chinchillas and ferrets. Our barn that houses Holstein cows, miniature donkeys, and 2 horses right here on campus. So our hopes are to have local veterinarians come in starting next year to do low-cost spay neuters for our community. So it gives our students the opportunity to assist in surgery, watch surgery.
One of my favorite part of the classes is that you get hands-on experience with animals and you actually get to work with the animals.
But it's also learning client relations, phone etiquette, being able to call and make and set up appointments, check vaccination history. So this program helps with career selection. We do a big career project that they get to really research what it means to be a veterinarian, what it means to be a veterinary technician, what it means to be a marine biologist, zoologist. There's many different choices underneath that animal science umbrella. This class offers 2 articulation credits, so it's very much hands-on, learn a trade type of class, but it also sets them up really nicely to go on and have that background knowledge to go into a college setting.
In accounting, you learn how to work with numbers in a little bit more hands-on way, something that's more realistic. Well, we work with spreadsheets in Excel. We also work with an online program that kind of mimics some of the professional programs that you will work with when you are out in the real world. My accounting class will help students by preparing them for college accounting classes. As a matter of fact, kids can get college credit for accounting here. So it's like taking a college class while you're here at Alvern. So in accounting, students can come out with 3 college credits. My goal for my students is for them to achieve the highest level of education they possibly can. I want them to be able to be prepared to go work for a company. Everybody needs people to manage their money.
The building construction program entails with giving students training and learning on how to do stuff like framing, roofing, siding, windows, and doors. or any aspects of construction. We do introduce other stuff into there and give them maybe avenues into commercial, building, and construction as well. So in building trades, my students will start out and learn stuff like the framing, the roofing, the siding, the windows, and a build which would be in here and hands-on in the shop. Typically it's a shed build or something like that. We'll give them those basic avenues. We also have other trainings and stuff with the NCCR, which will give them that accreditation to go on to an apprenticeship with another construction firm. But the woodworking aspect, which is more of an intro class, will give them the basis of like maybe building some furnitures, finishing, doing some sanding and finish and stuff that lines into maybe some woodworking or even custom trim work that would go into the construction aspect as well. And it gives them the introduction to a lot of power tools and equipment that they would use in the construction field. A lot of our carpentry affiliates or people that we work with will have an apprenticeship program, so when a carpenter wants to come in and work on it, they'll have the transcript. Say they do framing, they'll have so many hours into framing, and it'll be on their transcript, so that if someone goes to hire this individual, it'll be listed on the transcript, and it might put them in a different level of their apprenticeship program when they go to join in.
So I'm teaching health science level 1 and health science level 2 and a licensed nursing assistant program. The level 1 class is basically about an introduction to all things healthcare. They learn about the history of healthcare, personal characteristics of a healthcare worker. It's unique in that it's 100% healthcare. Everything that we do is geared toward preparing students for a career in healthcare. So I think in that way it's unique, including our Career and Technical Student Organization, HOSA, which is HOSA Future Health Professionals. That is an organization that helps provide the soft skills and other team building and leadership skills that students should have getting into healthcare. And it's also 100% healthcare versus joining a different Career and Technical Student Organization that may have a minimal amount of healthcare.
I like the hands-on aspect of it to like get us prepared when we go into the medical field and prepared for college, so I really like that part. Most people, when they go into college for nursing, they don't really have any background experience on like anatomy because not all schools offer that, but in health science we really like dive deep into each system and we do a lot of hands-on stuff like learning the skills that help us so that we know if we want to do it, we have a good background when we get in there.
I teach computer science courses. We cover all kinds of computer science concepts, techniques, things that are going on, current events. It is giving them everything they need to go out and get a job in their particular language or their particular field. They don't have to be developers. They can be systems analysts, they can be super users, they can be citizen developers, they can be website designers. Fairly basic JavaScript course, CS1. It's an excellent language to learn. It is the most popular language right now. Half the programming population of the world, 13 million JavaScript programmers are coding away. Everybody deals with it whenever they go to a website. Yeah. So if you're at a boot camp, you can get a professional software development job with the foundation of a course like this and start paying your college as you're going to college. So it's an excellent program.
In the Careers in Education program, students come into the program because they're thinking about perhaps pursuing a career in teaching somewhere. So within the program, they learn about teaching. They have a chance to experience teaching at different levels, whether it's preschool, elementary, middle, or high school. We really do place a big emphasis on hands-on learning because once you're actually in the classroom, you really get to decide, do I enjoy working with preschool students? Do I enjoy working with middle school students?
I wanted to become a teacher, so when I heard about this program, I knew this was going to be a good option.
We have such a great community here in Hudson because they've really welcomed us into all of the schools. So you really will have the opportunity to go into classrooms at all different levels, elementary, middle, high school classrooms, determine whether or not you really want to go into teaching.
I enjoy that we get to see what a teacher does behind the scenes. So you kind of get to understand and learn how to make a lesson plan. And during class, when we're making lesson plans, we get to bounce our ideas off of the other students.
You can get college credits with dual enrollment. I think it's a program with SNHU.
And as they progress through the program, they get an opportunity to actually do some of the teaching more and more.
Coming to CTE was definitely a good choice for me because it helps me know and confirm that I want to be a teacher.
We have a great facility. We are in the process of completing a renovation.
This renovation and addition project has been truly a godsend for the Hudson community, as well as surrounding communities that send schools here.
The kids seem to love it here. The hallways are bright and open. The classrooms have the newest technology.
Modern day technology is every single classroom is wired for Wi-Fi. Every single classroom has more computer drops than anything that Alverne High School has. Every classroom has a wired projector and 3D system that is going to produce video and sound quality so we can make learning alive through video clips, through elements of a TV studio. We've never had a real television studio, and now we have one. So when you only get one shot at renovating your CT center every 20 to 30 years, you want to do it right. And I think that as more students and families see everything that the CT has, people will understand that I think we did it right.
The CTE program also offers students the opportunity to visit workplaces and to gain internships in the program area.
He's really leaning towards computer science, doing something in the computer science field. And the school helped place or match Gregory with this internship. So he's going to be working with this company to develop a portion of their apps that they're bringing to market. So his internship will give him some additional high school credit, but it certainly is something that he'll be able to put on his resume, both for his applications into college and when he gets into the job market.
Hopefully by the time you leave here, you know whether or not I want to go right into the field. If I'm going to go to college, you know which path I want to pursue.
So the internship that I'm at, it's at a company called Spraying Systems. They do a lot of work for like factory equipment. Coming here was huge for me because I was able to get my foot in the door. The CTE program really helped me out because I got it's such a head start to be able to learn a trade like this while you're still in high school. I mean, so a lot of my coworkers didn't even get into welding until they were late 20s, 30s, and I'm 18 coming in fresh out of high school, and I already know how to do a lot of the basic stuff. If you don't know what you want to do after high school, I would say 100% join any CTE program. Pick one that sounds interesting to you. If you have time, do two. It's all about trying things, new things, and finding what you liked. I didn't know I liked welding. I wanted to get into cars, and then I just kind of did welding because the diesel class was full, and I found out that I really liked it. I enjoy what I do. I don't just do it to make money to work. I like doing it, and I was lucky to be able to find that when I was still in high school.
The ball's in your court, students. I am CTE. I hope you will be. Sign up. Enroll now. Use our online link. Come to Hudson.